Hey everyone, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and Goat Film Reviews on YouTube with another quick reaction to the film I just got out of, Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. Now, if you followed me for any amount of time, you know that Wes Anderson and I do not exactly hit the way that he does with most people. In fact, he's kind of like Stanley Kubrick with me, except Stanley Kubrick, pretty much every one of his films that I disliked on first viewing, I've liked again more and more over time. Wes Anderson has that ability on me a few times. Grand Budapest has aged well with me. The Life Aquatic has aged well with me. When I watch his films over and over again, second and third viewing is where I start to kind of pick up a little bit more respect for the work. And really the only film of his that I liked, that I absolutely adored on first viewing, was Moonrise Kingdom. So going into The French Dispatch, I've heard mixed reaction even from Wes Anderson's own fans. So I thought maybe this is gonna be the one that's gonna really change my viewpoint on the director. It's a very ambitious film. It's probably his most ambitious film, and it's probably his most well shot film, but it is an anthology. And I was like, okay, well, that kind of, that really interests me in a lot of ways. And I gotta say, I was so incredibly bored with this movie. It really dulled me down, and I couldn't handle it. After the first story, I thought the first story was pretty good with Léa Seydoux, Adrien Brody, and Benicio del Toro. I thought that was a pretty good story. I liked all the extra matter, the front matter, the back matter, the part of it that the framing device being the French Dispatch with Bill Murray, I thought was interesting, and the little side that we got with Owen Wilson describing the town that we're spending time in. But the second story didn't do much of anything for me. And the third story didn't do much of anything for me. And so that's really incredibly disappointing for me, because I think this movie is shot gorgeously. I do wish more of it was in color. A significant amount of it's in black and white. And I think this is a film that lends itself to color better than black and white. But the story's writing was so dull that it just didn't work for me. And I'm sad to say, I think the movie is okay overall. I will say that. I think the performances are strong. I think, again, like I said, this is a fantastically shot movie, an extremely ambitious film. There's so many actors, so many set pieces that require everyone, extras included, to be on their A game, and you get that a lot in here. I like the sound design. I like the musical score from Alexander Desplat. I liked so much of this movie, but the writing really drug me down to more of a mixed reaction. I just thought the final product was okay. I don't really have as much interest in checking it out again, but I'm sure I will, because every time I watch one of his movies again, I like it a little bit more, and maybe that's the case here. But overall, in this first viewing, really disappointed that this wasn't the one to win me over, because I really thought this had a chance. I mean, this is a stacked cast in this film. And that's, everything about it works except for Wes Anderson's screenplay. I don't think there's enough interesting stuff going on in the stories. The first story aside, I thought the first story was good, but the first story is one that kind of gives you all that ambitious flavor that the other stories do, but it does it first, so it feels fresher. It's almost like the second and third film were like sequels in a way, where it's like, I get it. And there was nothing fresh or exciting about those second and third stories to maintain my interest once the first one was finished. Yeah, overall, just kind of bogged down by this one. I'm gonna need to ruminate a little bit and see if there's anything that kind of fishtails out, because I thought that there was just kind of a repetitive nature to the stories. And I wish that they maybe held more cadence within the framing device. We're set up to believe that these are stories written by people for the French Dispatch, magazine. But I don't know what about them made them interesting enough to be part of this magazine, outside of the first story again. And I think the idea is that they're so outlandish, but they kind of get bogged down in being overly outlandish, where you kind of get numb to that idea. Overall, I'm trying to wrap my head around things that I don't know if I can. I think the first story was great. I thought the framing device was great. I thought the little asides with Owen Wilson and kind of the stuff outside of the other stories worked pretty well. I just didn't like the second and third one, and they take up a bulk of the movie, so that really does drag it out. I found myself tempted to check the time, but but I turn my phone off before I go into these things. I found myself nodding off, and I'm not asleep right now. I'm not tired, but I was nodding off because of how bored I was. I kept having to catch myself because I just was not engaged with the material, and that's really disappointing for me. So who knows, maybe on a second or third viewing this will change, but overall this movie just kind of meh for me. Not the worst of the year, not the best of the year, just kind of in that middle section, and being boring is perhaps the ultimate sin of any film, and it's committed here. So that's all that I have for you guys today. Check out the rest of goatfilmreviews.com for all my different reviews. Go ahead and click a like down here, subscribe to the channel, comment with your thoughts on the French Dispatch once you've seen it. That's my favorite part of doing this channel, is being able to engage with you, the viewer. And those kinds of things, liking, commenting, subscribing, help me out a lot, and they help you out a lot too. So go ahead and do that as well. And yeah, check me out on Kyle and Nick on Film. We have Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays with new episodes. So keep an eye out for that as well, and we'll see you next time.